here's two questions I have, and I should probably answer 'em or ask them one at a time. So first question is, let's say your team Cade, you planted your flag. So my concern is the future, right? Not let's forget about these two quarterbacks and how their careers end up. But let's say I'm a freshman in high school and I'm a quarterback and I'm a highly rated kid, and now Michigan is recruiting me, right? Is it going to be, am I going to look at it and say, there's no way I'm coming to Michigan? You just had, the number one quarterback in that class come to your school and you didn't even play him. Like, why would I come here? Right? Like, because that kind of comes into play now. Would you say?
That's already the case. Did you not see a lot of these top quarterbacks? They're not banging on Michigan's door already. So
Well, but
that's
still, I
already,
mean, Michigan was in the top top three for
I
both of
understand.
those
They're in
guys.
the
You know what I
running,
mean?
yes. But part of that, honestly, dude, I don't think it matters. I think what kids care about more or less is just true up. It's more style of play than anything. Because I understand what you're saying, but
Well, here's my thing. Could you make that argument on Dante Moore and CJ not committing here? You know what I mean? Of essentially the same thing. Like, well, you had JJ, and of course, all these kids think they are the like, oh, I'm better than JJ, right? They all think that. So if it's like, well, I'm better than he is, like, so, but would I even play? Like, you're not even playing him, and I know he's better than Cade. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that you'd have to think about too. Like the next, the future essentially is, okay, if we go with Cade, yeah, I get everything that you said on him, but I think number one, Michigan's ceiling is higher with JJ, and
absolutely.
you've got to now think about that for the future, right? Because the 5-star kids that go to Clemson, they're playing. The 5-star quarterbacks that go to Alabama, they're playing. The 5-star kids that go to Texas and Texas A&M and now USC, Oklahoma, those guys are playing. They're not splitting time. Once Caleb Williams got the job at Oklahoma, he had the job at Oklahoma. You know what I mean? So that unfortunately, that's the game you kind of have to play too with college football. Is yes, you're making the decision for the now, but you also gotta have to make it for the future too.
No, look, I understand that, and look, I guess it also depends on what do you really care about, too. Is winning this year, it, winning as many games as possible this year the most important thing for you, or is it, I don't know, taking a step back potentially to maybe have a chance to win on a higher level than you ever had before since 1997, which is winning a national title. That's what you're essentially probably will be setting yourself up for that type of scenario if you go with JJ. Potentially having some bumps in the road this year. Still, you'll win a lot of games. For one, your schedule's weak, but you're going to win a lot of games. JJ's still very talented. You're going to win most of your games, but you may drop one or two. You probably shouldn't. Potentially, if you go with JJ, just due to bumps in the road compared to Cade, but maybe from that experience this year, going to next year with JJ, Donovan Edwards, those type of kids being juniors, maybe you're really ready to go for a national title run. Potential, it could happen. Compared to Cade, you're probably your best choice to repeat as Big Ten champs. So that's what I'm saying,
See,
man.
I'm not sure you have to. I'm not sure you have to pick one. I think both of those things can happen together. Like I think if you JJ just needs coaching and he just needs reps. I think this is just my personal opinion. I just
I
think he
agree.
needs coaching and reps. And you've got a perfect 4-game stretch to give him just that, to give him coaching and give him reps. I'm not sure that JJ doesn't give you a better shot to beat Ohio State than Cade does this year, because I know for one thing, Ohio State, that team, that program is going to be on fire, ready to roll. And I get it. So, some fans will say, well, they were last year, and maybe they were. But a team that's really talented, that's pissed off, that's something that you've got to reckon with. So to me, I just think that JJ probably gives you that better shot to repeat as Big Ten champs and get to the college football playoff. But you can't do that scenario Mark talked about with the media of, yeah, let's start Cade the first 4 games and then
Oh
throw
no,
JJ in.
no, no,
That's
no.
ridiculous.
You need to clean
Give him
things
all
up.
the reps. He needs
You need
he
to clean
needs
things
every
up.
single snap outside of a fourth quarter where you're just going to run the ball every snap anyway. Get him out of there, whatever. But I truly think that JJ gives Michigan the best possible shot to be successful this year, and I think what that does is that I think it shows Jim Harbaugh's growth as a coach and just his philosophy, that merit base that we talked about that he's always done. That now he's kind of singing a different tune at the Big Ten Media Day, which is a good thing. The best guy should always play. It shouldn't matter what you've done the last year or 2 years. It should matter who's the best guy for our team right now. All right, cool. Let's roll with him. So, and I think that'll help with getting the next 5-star, the next JJ coming in, so that you could start to put these things together now. Like, you got one superstar kid that we assume is going to be a superstar kid. Let's get the next one in the next recruiting cycle, so that now you start to put this thing together and you're off and running and you get to the next step.
I have to address something because Lawrence Harris said something. Would you rather have Brett Favre at QB or more average Jared Goff, knowing you'll most likely have the team around him to go high places? I much rather have Brett Favre. You're missing the point, like, because for one, I know what Brett Favre is, right? That's Brett Favre, the quarterback. I'm talking more or less. I don't know if JJ is going to be Brett Favre per se. I'm talking about stylistically. I know he's a Brett Favre type guy, but I don't know if he's going to be quite as good as Brett Favre was. Yes, I could live with that. I can live for going with JJ McCarthy if I know he's Brett Favre compared to knowing that Cade McNamara is Jared Goff, right? But it's still, I still don't think it's an easy decision, because I think part of it is due to the type of team you do have around them. If you have a pretty good loaded team, you've seen that Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl. Now, I know Brett Favre actually won one, so a different situation, but you still had really good in a different level, NFL. So it's not like you didn't have really good success with Jared Goff didn't with the right team have really good success. He did.
But when you look at an all-time great quarterback, I mean, Brett Favre won that Super Bowl early, very early.
1997. I think he was like 3-4 years in his career.
That was early. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, yeah, that's great. But after that, you know what I mean? Like, it can get you in trouble. Yeah, that's a silly question. I mean, yes, you'd rather have Brett Favre, but I'm not, valiant effort puts a great game manager, wins a Super Bowl. Show that to me. I mean, what great game manager have we seen outside of Trent Dilfer, who had a historic defense? Like, you know what I mean?
Pre 2011, you probably can find a couple game managers. I think Brad Johnson for Tampa Bay was a game manager.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer. It was a lot.
But still, those are two historic defenses that you just mentioned, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Those two Bucks.
They were,
yeah. Hey, Hall of Famers everywhere. Okay.
Correct. Yes. Does Michigan have that on their defense today?
No. Absolutely.
Okay, then let's.
They're exceptions.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a good point. That's like, I didn't think about how great that Bucks defense.
You literally pick like two of the top, I don't know, 5 all-time defenses.
Yeah, no doubt. And so that's the where you better have an all-time great. I mean, and like from college football rankings.
This man said Tom Brady. Go ahead. Sorry.
I see Eli in the same conversation as Brady and Wilson. I need someone to explain that.
No, these are the great game managers that he mentioned. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
go ahead.
Hold on. I will say this: Russell Wilson with the Legion of Boom early in his career was more of a game manager. I would say that.
And once again, you are mentioning a great defense. Like, this is
an exception,
right? We're not talking about the norm. Like, we are talking about
100%. Heck, even Big Ben when he won it in the first one in 06.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really any year with the Steelers. I mean, for one, I think Big Ben was a little bit better than the game manager. If you want to say Big Ben, that was
like his
second year.
Oof. Yeah, I think his second year.
He was young, man. It was his second year in 06. You know, that still is how many Hall of Famers on that Steelers defense? I mean, my God, you know,
Mm-hmm.
probably had guys like Troy Polamalu, Casey Hampton, Joey Porter, you know, Larry Foote.
Palomalu was there, I'm pretty sure.
I
I
said
mean,
Polamalu, you
yeah.
know, Larry Foote, you know, Michigan Wolverine, Larry Foote. You know, just dogs everywhere. You know, like so. Look, yes, you can win a high level. One is the NFL, different game. You can win on a high level, but you better have the exception of a fantastic defense, which goes back to Georgia. Stetson Bennett was not a great quarterback, but he had an exceptionally historic college football type defense, right? So I understand what people are saying, but Michigan has neither of that. We're not on that level, and so that's where the the appeal to JJ is because JJ maybe is that secret elixir that he's so dynamic that he can get us to that level. And I'm not saying he can't, and I'm not going to be banging on the wall and upset if JJ takes over. I like JJ. I'll be fine with that because you know what telling me, Des, if he won a job, that means he was a better guy in camp, and I'm good with that, and that would give me more solace. But as of now, I feel a bit more comfortable with the guy I know, and that's just it. I mean, people can get upset at me because it almost as if I'm saying, "Oh, JJ sucks. He's not going to make it." I think JJ can be fantastic. I do believe JJ gives us a higher trajectory. We're not arguing different things. I'm just saying that beware of the risk of going with JJ compared to Cade, and that it could potentially backfire. That's all. Recognize both sides of it. And don't just think that JJ's a done deal. We don't know that. We do not know that, and just keep that in mind.